Now, Russia and Ukraine have marked the new year with some fresh strikes. Moscow claims that at least about 24 people have been killed and more than 50 others injured in a deadly Ukrainian drone strike on a town in occupied southern Ukraine. Kiev is accusing Moscow of fresh attacks on Odessa. So as the war now spills into yet another year, the leaders of both sides are striking completely different tones as peace appears to be now pushed into cold storage.
As the world rings in 2026, drones are in the air and missiles are on the move. Fireballs replace fireworks. Buzz of drones and boom of explosions drown out midnight celebrations. Russia and Ukraine marked the new year with fresh attacks and bloodshed, with civilians caught in the crossfire. These are the images of the aftermath of the deadly drone strike at a hotel and restaurant in Russian-controlled part of Ukraine's Kherson. Moscow accuses Kyiv of deliberately targeting civilians when they gathered in the Black Sea resort town of Khorly on the New Year's Eve. Kherson is one of 4 regions in Ukraine which Russia claimed as its own in 2022, a move Kyiv and most Western countries denounced as an illegal land grab. Moscow says Russian air defense systems destroyed 9 Ukrainian drones as they flew toward the capital. Other regions, including the southern Krasnodar region, reported minor damage as a result of drone attacks there. The drone war is only escalating. Ukraine accuses Russia of launching over 200 drones on New Year. Ukraine's port city, Odessa, continues to battle multiple fires after Russia carried out new strikes. The fresh escalation comes just days after Moscow claimed Ukrainian military attacked President Vladimir Putin's residence in Novgorod region. The Russian Defense Ministry has released video of wreckage and flight route by drones. Moscow says that it destroyed all the Ukrainian drones. Kyiv has called Moscow's charges lie. The EU has backed it, but the US president said he was very angry when asked about the attack on Putin's residence. The Russian president has sent out a strong message, signaling its stance will change while negotiating peace deal.
Together, we are one big family, strong and united, and so we will continue to work and create, achieve our goals and move forward for the sake of our children and grandchildren, for the sake of our great Russia.
US President Donald Trump, who has warmly spoken of Putin, now appears to signal his displeasure with the Russian leader. He shared a New York Post editorial that sharply criticizes the Kremlin and argues Trump should turn up the heat on Russia. As fireworks of New Year fade across the world, the battlefield in Ukraine remains lit. No ceasefire, no pause, no peace in sight. Just a war that refuses to end, even on the first day of the new year. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
And we earlier spoke with defense and security expert Dr. Glenn Deason from Oslo. He's also a professor of international relations at the University of Southeastern Norway. And listen to what he had to say.
I think what we've seen over the past few weeks is continuous escalation. That is more direct attacks, efforts at political leaders. Of course, they're going after civilian targets, be it energy infrastructure. So the Russians are also intensifying in terms of trying to destroy Ukraine's energy grids, its ports, and much of its logistics. So, but beyond the conflict between now Ukraine and Russia, we also see that in the wider framework of this being a proxy war between NATO and Russia, that we're moving closer and closer to direct war. So, for example, we see now the report in the New York Times stating that the CIA, with Trump's blessing, has been has been behind many of these attacks on Russian tankers, Russian refineries. So it looks as if anyone hoping that there would be that there would be more peace in 2026, I think would be disappointed. And I think a lot of this is predictable. We're reaching the final stages of the war. No one is ready to lose, so you're gonna see a lot of escalations. You're gonna see some efforts perhaps to provoke a response. There's gonna be false flags. I think again, now that Ukraine's ongoing collapse can't be ignored, and the Europeans have made it clear they're not ready for any peace, then I think we're going to see some very dangerous developments going forward.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.